Welcome back for another video. What a week Game Week 5 was. Finished with 36 points all out. It was one of the lowest average game weeks I've ever seen playing. I've seen some wildcard teams that scored 25 and some even didn't reach 20 points. If you had Salah and or Alvarez, it's probably a better week for you than most. Unfortunately, I had neither in my case. I did bring in Son for the home game to Sheffield United, where he did start up top as expected. But just about the worst thing that could happen was Richarlison coming on for him and scoring, which is exactly what happened. He also got an assist. I do wonder if Son starts in left wing against Arsenal now, which would lessen his appeal. I do sympathise with anyone that went captain Son as well. That really deserved more, and it was a reasonable punt. On the other hand, you can consider yourself lucky that Haaland only returned 6 points. He took 9 shots that game, all in the box. He had 6 big chances and he racked up 2.56 XG, which is crazy in just one game. So I'm strongly considering a Game Week 6 wildcard, as a few things have changed in Game Week 5 that have made it tempting. I don't think it's a reactionary thing to a bad game week. There are just a few things that have made it a consideration now. One of the big ones is not owning Salah, who's returned in 11 games on the bounce now. Chilwell's benching was also another disaster and really surprised him. The only thing worse than coming on for a 1-pointer was also getting booked, and he managed that. Mudryk wasn't great, so he might still start against Aston Villa next week. Chelsea just looks so off at the moment, no thanks to injuries. Jackson was sloppy, Sterling was lively but another blank. Estepinian in most of our teams, and he didn't even make the squad. That one was actually a shame from my perspective, as I'd backed Gabriel hoping for an Estepinian benching, so in the end the auto subs came in for everyone that started him. So let's run through the Game Week 6 team, and I'm going to also share a Game Week 6 wildcard which I'm strongly considering. I've made one transfer already as well, and I'm about 75% likely to press the button currently. A 3-pointer from Pickford last game week, which is basically a haul for him. Unfortunately, I started Turner, he got 2 points though, so 1 point lost on that. I expected Pickford to do worse than 3 points against Arsenal. Here's another reason I'm weighing up the wildcard. Ultimately, I'm not expecting a clean sheet away to Brentford, so it is an opportunity to upgrade in goal. The back three is Chilwell, Estepinian and Gabriel. So Chilwell, a bit of a question mark after the benching. Pochettino decided to use Mudryk and left wing instead, and he played Colwill left back. So there's still a chance he comes back into the team in left wing, or Colwill moves into left centre back and then Chilwell left back. But we could also see Sterling move to left wing, so I'm not sure on Chilwell at all now. I was very surprised to see him miss out though. He's one of Chelsea's best players, and he was really lively in the first few game weeks. The Liverpool game in particular, when he got the assist, and he also had a goal ruled offside. Chilwell would leave the team on a wild card. Estepinian's home to Bournemouth this week. They fared just fine without him against Man United, playing Lamptey and left back, and he had a decent game. I'm expecting him to return to the starting 11 next game week, and it is a nice fixture. Brighton have got a game on Thursday night first, where he presumably starts as well. As mentioned, one transfer has already been made, and it's not in defence, so it's a case of playing Gabriel versus Tottenham, or take a -4 to sell Shaw for a Newcastle defender, probably Botman. You might be able to guess who I moved early on. It's not a defender and it's not a midfielder. The midfield is Mbeumo, Saka, Sterling, Son and Rashford. Mbeumo is one of the first names on a wildcard, really nice block of fixtures ahead, and if you don't have him, he should be a priority transfer. Newcastle away last game, it was always going to be a really tough game. He's second in the league after Haaland for expected goal involvement. Saka's another name who wouldn't leave the team on a wildcard. He's ticking along with returns, and he's blanked just once this season back in Game Week 2. Still expecting him to be the top 3 scorer mids by the end of the season, perhaps even top barring injury. Sterling's looked dangerous in the 2 games since the haul, but the points just not come in. He's had 4 big chances, he's created 9 chances, 2.87 expected goal involvement. He would leave the team on a wildcard in favour of Diaby, with Villa having good long-term fixtures, though Chelsea are home to Villa in Game Week 6. In terms of their defence, Chelsea have actually been solid. They're 3rd best in the league after Man City and Arsenal for expected goals conceded. It's the other end of the pitch that's the problem. Son would also leave the team for Salah on a wildcard. We've only got 2 weeks of info in his new role. The first game a hat-trick, starting ahead of Richarlison, and in the second game he also started ahead of him again, but Richarlison got 1 goal 1 assist off the bench, which was huge for him. He talked openly about the mental side of the game and his struggles, so scoring at last would be a massive confidence boost. So does this mean he comes back in and Son back to left wing where he has looked less effective? Love to know the thoughts of any Spurs fans in the comments. If Son does leave the team, there's still potential for both him and Maddison to rejoin the team in Game Week 8, probably replacing Saka and Rashford. Despite all their troubles, it's a great fixture for Man United and surely not the week to sell Rashford or Bruno. Against Brighton, Rashford created 2 big chances and he took 6 shots in the box. He blanked with 0.72 expected goal involvement. We saw Bruno playing down the right in the absence of Antony. So a transfer made up top. The front two is now Alvarez and Haaland. It's become very difficult to ignore Alvarez. At the start of the season, many of us thought Foden would be the one to own in De Bruyne's absence, but it's been this man so far. Watched him in the Champions League Tuesday night, he was electric again. He took 8 shots and he created 7 chances, so that's 15 shots stemming from him alone. Only 4 players in recorded history since 2003 have been involved in more in a Champions League game. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists in the league, 7 returns in 5 this season. He's absolutely quality and he's got to be close to nailed in De Bruyne's absence. Pep called him undroppable after Game Week 5, and after the midweek game, Pep said he deserves to be the first name on the team sheet. We've also got the benefit of Man City having the first game of the game week, so we might even get early news on him and some other players. Expecting him to start in current form, but City are also without Grealish, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. As far as captaincy, it's a simple one this week, no need to overthink it. There's no standout alternatives this week really, besides Alvarez himself I suppose. Haaland got an assist for Alvarez's goal, but looked frustrated to have not scored on Tuesday night, and Forest home about as good as fixtures come. I'm expecting Pep to make some early subs if this game is wrapped up. They've got a fair few injuries at the moment, and they also face Newcastle away in the League Cup next midweek. So the bench is Turner, Shaw, Udogie and Mbama. So I'm tempted to take a -4 to sell Shaw to Botman, but really hate hits for low ceiling defenders. Newcastle would have to keep a clean sheet or it's points lost to the field. Newcastle are second on the clean sheet odds this week with a 42% chance Game Week 6. They do of course face Burnley home in Game Week 7 as well, so it's 2 really good back-to-back fixtures. So let's have a look at the potential Game Week 6 wildcard, and I might also do a wildcard video later in the week. I'd have Flecken in goal and Areola backup. These 2 rotate pretty well long term. In defence, it'd be double Newcastle defence with Cash, Aldako and Udogie. When I look at the double Game Week 7 fixtures, the Luton defenders are popular, but I really can't see them keeping a clean sheet against Everton away. Everton have actually been pretty unlucky, 2 goals scored from 7.6 XG. They're actually 12th in the league for expected goals among all teams. So it's the second game of the double where you're hoping for a clean sheet really. Same with Burnley because they've got Newcastle first and then Luton. So long term, comparing Luton and Burnley, there's not a single game on the left side here where I'd be happy playing a Luton defender, or if they get auto subbed off my bench. On the right, there's at least some games here if it's really needed. Rashford, Bruno, Gabriel and Shaw have all cost me 0.6 million budget due to price falls, so there's not much wiggle room in budget in my case. Ideally I'd like to have Estepinian home to Bournemouth, but it would mean losing cash, and I'd have to have a 4.2 mil defender in place of Burn, like Gusto. Diaby and Salah have come into the midfield, and Archer replaces Mbama. So that would be 9 changes in total on the wildcard, 6 changes in the starting 11, so is that enough to pull the trigger? It's really close, and most likely it comes down to Salah versus Son, and whether I get away with no Estepinian. After the Bournemouth game, they've got Villa away, Liverpool home, and then Man City away, so Bournemouth the only game in the next 4 would want to start him. Tottenham's fixtures turned really nicely in Game Week 8 with Luton and Fulham back to back. That's when Maddison could come in for Saka, who has Man City, and potentially also Son for Rashford using 2 free transfers. Love to know your thoughts on this. If you found the video useful, consider subscribing and drop it a like. More content to come later this week. See you soon for the next one.